Hey, greetings everybody. Welcome back. Skipper here again, and I'm on a roll this week. It's about 3 videos this week. Each one of them a little different than the other one because this is something new that I've got coming out. And I always like to feature some new things, new products. Just kind of throw your comments, feedback, what you think. I just got bored and kind of obsessed about kind of doing some things, and what I ended up doing is I made something easier to pin up an American lock core. And I plan on sitting there saying, hey, I can take these things and make them for slack quick set. About any core that has a single chamber pinning, nothing very complicated that has like a Medico or anything like that has sidebars incorporated in with it. Though I could probably jump into that if I wanted to, but anyway, I just want to start off with the basic. I'll start off with the staple of all lock sports, which is the American lock. This is the American lock core. You can see the guts are just laying everywhere through here. I've already got the core pinned up with a key right here. The bitting on the key it really doesn't matter. This one is 43468. So, I've got the key pins already in place, just to save time so that you don't have to watch me do that at the, latter part of the video or whatever, because that's not what this video is. The video is about this little thing right here that I designed. And with this little design is, I'm going to take this little piece out right here. I want to make lock assembly and repinning your lock a little more easier, so that way we don't sit there and break up our cores, because that's when most times you can break up a core is during the pinning part of it. Also, just a frustration sometimes of putting the pins and dropping them in place and getting them set. So yeah, anyway, this is a mini lock gutting station or assembly. And just let me know what you think about it. I'm probably going to throw it out there and maybe throw this with some American locks that I might put out there to the community in the future. But let's just jump right in and kind of show you how this works. Anyway, you've got the core, the outer core here, and this is what you have to start with to repin a core. And usually you take a follower like this, and it has a little cutout here. And in the last chamber you have to make sure it's facing the right direction. Unless it's a 6-pin American lock, you start in like this, you start dropping springs in, then you start dropping your little driver pins in, serrated or spool pins in, and then you'll sit there and take your tweezers and you'll push it down while you push this forward on each chamber until you get all the way full, and then you get everything pinned up. And then you come through and do what I did is you get this pinned up, and then you assemble your lock. If you're not careful, that's where you can break things up pretty fast. So anyway, got through that part. Let me just show you how it works. So anyway, not going to need this. I'm going to throw that over to my junk pile over there. And so we start with the core. Now, of course, all cores, you have to make sure they go in the right direction. The core is going to go in this way when it's keyed. So we need to make sure it's simple here. So, one thing I did is I wanted to make sure that this core could not be assembled or taken off in the straight position, because, a couple of reasons why is we don't want the core to get bricked up, during the assembly process. So I try to put some safety mechanisms that will manually keep you from breaking your core up, to the most part. It still can happen, but there's some things on this that will help assist you in making, stopping those mistakes from happening. And I'm going to tell you, you can probably look back at some of my videos, I have bricked up so many American lock cores, so don't be ashamed if you did them. We all have done it. We've all bricked them up. So let me just show you kind of how this works. We got our springs, and of course, the first thing you do, you put your springs in the core. And of course, on American lock, there's nothing on the, on standards, there's nothing in that last chamber, so we'll skip that one. We're not going to pin this one up to a 6 chamber, so just a standard 5. So there's number 5, there's number 4, there's number 3, number 2, and I want to make sure that you guys can see all this happening as I do it. And number one, you know, I tried to make this video a little bit ago, had it done perfectly, and found out that I zoomed in too tight, and half the things I was doing wasn't on the video because I was looking at my core, make sure I did everything perfectly. So I might try to zoom in just a little bit on this one now, just so you can see a little bit more detail as this thing's happening, but I'm not going to zoom in a whole lot. So anyway, with my key pin being 6/8 at the end, I'm going to go ahead and put serrated drivers in for those, because I think those probably do a little bit better than spool pins. But you never know. So anyway, there's your pin. You drop it in, they're serrated. Drop in a serrated driver there. And, you know, one thing I've noticed on this is, you know, this one's brand new off the press. There might be a couple small burrs because it's 3D printed that's down in the chambers on these that just have to work through on maybe first couple times or not. But I'll just show you real quick how I plan on just taking care of that really easy. See, some of them just drop straight in. But as you can see, I've just got, you know, just a little tip here. You can do it with a paper clip, whatever. You can just go ahead and just, I mean, I'm just touching them, and they have fallen. Every one of them's fallen into position right inside this core. Now, what we had to do, or Skipper had to do, is you can see this little piece right here. Now, this little piece, and I think I may have printed the wrong one because I've redesigned this one that's supposed to slope a little bit like this. Yeah, good gosh, I'm off the camera. Here it is, this piece right here, that is supposed to, it's going to go in here and it's going to push all those driver pins down. But it's supposed to slope up a little bit. I don't know if I'm going to just leave this as is and let people who have them maybe just file the bottom, maybe right here, this end right here, if they want it to help assist. But we'll just see how easy this goes. This will insert into the middle now, because what we have is each one of those little driver pins is now sticking up in the core slightly, and this will not slide off. It will not rotate off either. So this is the little piece that we're going to slide right in. It'll come with my cores. I mean my core assembly. And you know, it's like this one is somewhat going in, but I think anyway, yep, there we go. It's going in. But you know, just kind of speed this little process up. I'm just going to make sure that I'm stuck on that last one right there. Push it in, and we're good to go. Now, when this core gets in this point, as you can see, I need to have a locking mechanism that will automatically push those driver pins down to the shear line. So what I've done is I've created a little lip here on the end. And so when I push this down, you can see it drives that last driver pin in. Now, we also had to make on the back side, right here where this thing will come through, and you can just take your little finger and just kind of press down like this. You can see it pushing those last pins down. And the reason why you do this is to get those driver pins, everything to the shear line, make sure everything's on the shear line. So now you can see this core will rotate freely around this follower, this permanent follower that's on this right here. So all we need to do at this point is we have it in there. We drop the pins in, the driver pins in. We already have our key pin pinned up. And I already have this right here so that you can't put this thing in here wrong. So, I mean, you know, we can start just like this right here. Just like we got everything pinned up. It's right back down to the bottom. But this is going to automatically start at that angle, at about a 45-degree angle, so that we can make sure that this core does not get jammed up. Now, as you can see, I'm trying to push this core straight on. It won't go because I'm going to have to rotate this core to get it off this this thing now. And I do that because I want to make sure that this core does not break up on my design. So I've got it here. I've got this stop right here. As you can see, I built in this stop here so that you don't over rotate the core. And you can just take this and you can now just slide this core straight onto your key pin, onto your keys. Now, always make sure that you're rotating this back to correct direction. And as you can see right here, this core is pinned up. I don't have a retaining spring. Let's just kind of move this out. We'll keep this in since it's a featured product. This core is pinned up, perfectly in. I don't have the retaining clip right here. So I'm going to be careful when I do this, but as you can see, my American lock core is pinned up, ready to go, and working perfectly. So, guys, let me know what you think about this little piece. It's pretty cool. We'll come in and take a little closer look at it. You know, so we have this piece here. You can see there's 6 holes. This is the piece right here that inserts in. It's got a little ramp right here that's built inside here, and as you can see, there's a little ramp that's built right onto the back there that keeps this thing guided to the top. And as it gets pushed through, those key pins are depressed down. Those driver pins. And then at the very end, you can see the matching design here. And when this thing fits in, it has to get depressed down and takes everything to the shear line. You have to come back on the back side because this will be pushed up, and maybe your last couple pins, just hold that down and your core will rotate freely around, and then you can disassemble this core right off. Just something cool I want to design up, kind of want to show. Let me know what you think. Like I said, you know, I'm just going to kind of throw it out there and see what happens. You know, I may, you know, we'll just see what happens. Just got finished with it. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. You know, sometimes instead of watching these TV shows and all this other crap TV that's on now, I figured, hey, let's just do something that's keeps my mind working. Skipper's getting older here, and let's start, you know, programming some things, making some designs, and getting some things in here that hey, that's fun for me. Fun for the community. I don't need to do this for a living. I do it for fun, and I do it to help people out. I like to give security advice. American Locks is a good entry level for basic security, where you know most of the attacks are destructive attacks against locks. So anyway, let's not even get into that. Let's look at this. Like I said, thought this was pretty cool. Check it out. You know, it's my American lock pinning, whatever. Somebody give me a good name for it. You know, pinning kit. I don't know, something like that. It's not a kit because you don't have the driver pins, but maybe a pinning station or something like that. Again, you know, you just put your outer core right on, line up the holes right there just like that. Drop your springs, drop your drivers. Take the whatever kind of follower you want to call this, since it does go into the core. When it goes in, it'll literally push all the key pins, all the driver pins down, so that the core can come off and slide it directly back onto your inner core, and then and voila, there you go. No more of this right here. You know, putting in one at a time, and yeah, and pushing down through tweezers and pushing through until it gets up. Even though, you know, I've gotten so good at this, I can do these really, really fast. Hey, yeah, I just throwing it out there. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, tuning in. If you made it in this video, good for you. Thanks for being a skipper watcher. Anyway, guys, have a good night. Take care.